Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's lesson, I'm going to solve paper 1. Let me highlight it. Paper 1, Pure Mathematics 1. This is Cambridge International ASA level mathematics. This is May-June 2025 and this is the third variant. So the code is 970913. The paper is roughly 2 hours. So let's begin. The first question, a curve has equation this. Find the equation of the tangent to the curve at a point. Give your answer in the form y is equals to mx plus c. So I guess what we can imagine is, just for our own visualization, that let's suppose the curve looks like this and this is the tangent line that we need to find the equation for. So this is, let's suppose this is the tangent line and this is our curve. Y is equals to a function of x and they've given us the coordinates of this point, -2 and -1. Remember, in order to find the equation of any linear line, you just need two things. The first thing is the slope, and the second thing that you need is one point on that line, okay? On the line. So we already have one point on the line, which is a -2 and -1. So in order to find the equation of the tangent line, the only thing left is the slope, which we can easily find by taking the derivative of the equation of the curve which is given at this point. Okay, so let's go ahead. The equation is y is equals to 2x plus 12 over x power -2. Okay, so the derivative with respect to x is going to be a 2 minus 24x power -3. Okay, so let's see the value of the derivative at x is equals to -2. Okay, we'll have a 2 here and then we'll have a 24 over a -2 power cube. Okay, so this is going to be a 2 minus 24 over a -8. So this becomes a positive actually. So 8 3s are ring 4, right? So 2 plus 3 is going to be equals to a 5. So there we have it. We have the slope, which is equals to a 5, and we have a point on the tangent line, which is equals to a -2 and -1, and that's all we needed. So y minus the point, the y coordinate of this point, the slope is 5, and into x minus the x coordinate of this point, -2. Okay, so we have a y plus 1 is equals to 5x. Actually, let me just open this up. X plus 2, which becomes a 5x plus a 10, right? So we'll have a y is equals to 5x plus 9. So the value of m is equals to a 5 and the value of c is equals to a 9. If you're unfamiliar with this formula, you can also like do it like this. Like you can say the equation of the line is y is equals to mx plus c, where the value of m is a 5, right? So we can just substitute the point over here. So the value of y is a -1 when the value of x is a 2, -2, right? So we'll get a -1 is equals to a -10 plus c, and therefore we'll get the value of c is equals to 9. So you can, if you want, you can use this method as well. Somehow right now this looks easier. Anyhow, both will do, and you'll score equal marks using both methods. So there you have it. This is question number 1, worth 4 marks. Okay, question number 2, this is worth 4 marks. It says The first two terms of a geometric progression are this. Ooh, it looks kind of fancy and complicated. Okay, first two terms. The first term is a 4 sine square theta, and the second term AR is a 8 sine cube theta. Oh, we can easily find the value of R from here, because if I divide AR by an A, I'll be left with just an R, right? So the value of AR is a 8 sine cube theta, and the value of an A is a 4 sine square theta. So I have R is equals to a 2 sine theta. That's nice. So we got this. Okay, and so let's find the value of A. So AR is equals to an 8 sine cube theta, right? From this can be called equation number 1, this can be called equation number 2. So if we plug in the value of R in equation number 2, we'll get the following. A is equals to A multiplied by 2 sine theta is equals to 8 sine cube theta, and therefore we have an A 4 sine square theta. So yeah, that's the value of A. Let's read what the question wanted. Okay, where the angle is such that the angle is greater than 0 and less than 30 degrees, right? So this is a acute angle. Okay, so it should be in the first quadrant. So let's just give ourselves a visualization of that. Okay, given that the sum to infinity of the progression is half, okay, so the formula for the sum to infinity of a geometric series of progression is a 1 over 1 minus R. So in this case, it's going to be a 4 sine square theta over a 1 minus 2 sine theta. Okay, and they've given us the value as half. Okay, fair enough. Let's cross multiply. We'll get an 8 sine square theta is equals to 1 minus 2 sine theta, and then we'll get an 8 sine square theta plus a 2 sine theta minus a 1 is equals to a 0. Sine is actually associated with the y-axis, the vertical axis. So let's just assume for simplicity that y is equals to sine theta. We could use any variable, but for sine I like using y, and for cos I like using the variable x. Okay, so we get an 8y square plus a 4y. This is a 2 y minus 1 is equals to a 0. Okay, so 8, we can do midterm breaking, or basically we call it factorization. 4 2s are 8, right? So 8y square plus a 4y minus a 2y minus a 1 is equals to a 0. So we'll get an 8y is equals to y plus a half minus 2y plus a half is equals to a 0. So we get an 8y minus 2 multiplied by y plus half is equals to a 0. Okay, so we have two possibilities. One is that y is equals to a minus half, and actually this is going to be an invalid solution, because we need the value of the angle to be an acute angle, right? So this is an invalid solution, because this is going to lie somewhere either on the third or the fourth quadrant, right? So this is definitely not an acute angle. So invalid solution because angle is obtuse or is not acute. Okay. The other value is y is equals to 2/4, which is a 1/4. So basically substituting in sine theta, we'll have a sine, I'm just using the interior angle, is equals to 1/4. So alpha is equals to sine inverse of 1/4. In this case, the value of theta and alpha in the first quadrant is actually the same. Okay, my baby is losing his mind, so I'm just going to pause the video here. But I think what the sine inverse of a 1/4 is actually, we don't need to calculate that, do we? Because they just want us to give our answer in this form. So what I can do is just say thus the value of k is a 1/4. Yeah, so that's it. This was for 4 marks and it was question number 2. Okay, question number 3. Given that the integral from 1 to 3 is equals to 12, find the value of the constant. Okay, first let's write this as a 4x minus 3 power minus 2 plus a 2 dx, and the value of this is equals to a 12. Okay, so let's integrate it. 4x minus 3, a minus 2 plus 1 is a minus 1. We divide it by minus 1, and also the differential of this expression is a 4, so we divide by 4 as well, plus a 2x, and we get this expression. Okay, now we want to let's just write this as a 2x minus an a over a 4 into 4x minus 3. That'll make things easier for us, I think. Okay, so पहले 3 की value डालते हैं. We'll get a 6 minus a over 4 3s are 12, right? And a 12 minus 3 is a 9, and 9 4s are 36. Okay, so we'll get a 36 here. Okay, minus, let's substitute the value 1. We'll get a 2 minus a over 4 minus 3 is a 1. We'll be left with a 4. Okay, is equals to a 12. Okay, now we have a 6 minus 2, which is a 4. And if I take a as common, minus a as common, I'll get a 1 over a 36 and minus a 1 over 4. And this will be equals to a 12. Okay, so I'll have an a over let's take a common denominator here, which is, let's just take a 36, right? So I'll get a 1 minus a 9 over a 36, and I've also taken this expression on the right side, so I'll take 12 on the left side, so I'll be left with a 4 minus a 12. Okay, so I'll get an a minus 8 over a 36, and on the right hand side I'll get a minus 8. Yeah, that's cool, because this gets cancelled, this gets cancelled, and we get an a is equals to a 36. So yeah, that's it. This is question number 3, and it was for 4 marks. Okay, question number 4 part A, it's worth 3 marks, and it says find the first 3 terms of the expansion of this in ascending powers of x. Okay, this is a binomial expansion. Okay, so let's just write the formula down. So a plus b power n is equals to the summation of r from 0 to n NCR a power n minus r and a b power r, right? So in our question, the value of a is actually 2 and the value of b is minus 3 over 2x. Okay, so 2 minus 3 over 2x power half. No, power 5. Yeah, sorry, my bad. So we have a summation r from 0 till a 5 of 5cr, and we have a 2 power 5 minus r and a minus 3 over a 2 into a r. Okay, so we need just the first 3 terms. Okay, so like what's going to be the first term? So for the first term, we're going to see the coefficient at at r is equals to 0. Okay, so that's going to be a 5c0, a 2 power 5 and minus 3 over 2. I ate the x, खा गई हूँ मैं. Okay, यहाँ x था. Okay, minus 3 by 2 x power 0. Yeah, so a 2 power of 5 is a 32, and this is equals to a 1, this is equals to a 1, so we're just left with 2 power 5. So that's the first term. Okay, the second term. So the second term has r is equals to 1. So we'll have a 5c1, a 2 power of 4 and minus 3 over 2x power of 1. Okay, this becomes a 5 factorial over 1 factorial over 4 factorial, and which is just going to be a 5, right? And 2 power 4 is a 16, and we have a minus 3 over 2x right here, and this becomes a 2 8s are 16, right? So we'll have 5 into an a into a minus 3 into an x. Okay, so this becomes a minus 120x. Okay, good. The last term, the third term, has r is equals to 2. So 5c2, 2 power 3 and minus 3 over 2x power 2. Okay, so this is just a 5 factorial over a 2 factorial, 3 factorial. 2 power 3 is an 8, and we have a 9 by 4x square here. When you simplify it, you're going to get a 180x square. So yeah, that's it. The first 3 terms, we have them. 2 minus 3 over 2x power 5. We just have to write the first 3 terms is a 32 minus a 120x plus a 180 x square. And we're done with part A of question number 4. Okay, use your answer in part A with a suitable value of x to find an approximation to a 1.985. Okay, that's interesting. अच्छा, हमें ना यहाँ we know that we know the value of this, right? And they want us to find an approximation for a 1.985 power 5. Okay, so basically हमें क्या करना चाहिए, इसको इससे बराबर कर लेना चाहिए. ठीक है, so इसको बराबर करके देखते हैं ना. So we get 2 minus a 3 over 2x is equals to a 1.985. This becomes a 1.5x because I'm taking this on the right side and taking this over to the left side. and we'll have a 2 minus a 1.985, which is a 0.015. So the value of x is a 0.01. That's great. So all we have to do is put it in this approximation. Okay, so we have a 32 minus a 120 into a 0.01 plus 120 into a 0.01 square. We have a quadratic approximation here. We have a 32 minus a 1.2 plus a 0.018, and this becomes a 30.818, and that's it. ये हमारा हो गया. This was part B of question number 4, and this was for 3 marks, and the part A was also for 3 marks. So we're done with question number 4. Okay, question number 5 says solve the equation 4 times I'm saying time sorry 4 sine theta tan theta is equals to 1 plus 5 cos theta. वैसे it's so obvious to tell कि बचपन में I had a little bit of तोतलापन. That's why I'm mispronouncing. Okay, so अच्छा ये क्या है, एंगल है okay from minus 180 degrees to a positive 180 degrees. Okay, so यहाँ कैसा करते हैं, let's have everything in terms of one variable, right? Because यहाँ sin भी आ रहा है, tan भी आ रहा है, cos भी आ रहा है, which is confusing. So let's first substitute the value of a tan theta, which we all know is a sin theta over cos theta. Okay, फजूल बातों में मैंने टाइम वेस्ट कर दिया. Just ignore my extra comments please. Okay, यहाँ हो गया sin theta over cos theta, ठीक है जी, is equals to 1 plus 5 cos theta. Okay जी, we have a 4 sin square theta over a cos theta, सही, and on the right hand side I have a 1 plus 5 cos theta. Let's cross multiply. We'll have a 4 sin square theta is equals to 1 plus 5 cos square theta. Okay, let's actually अब यहाँ ना change कर देते हैं. Let's substitute sin square theta is equals to 1 minus cos square theta. So everything is in in one term. So यहाँ जाएगा 4 into 1 minus cos square theta is equals to 1 plus 5 cos square theta. So this becomes a 4 minus a 4 cos square theta is equals to 1 plus 5 cos square theta. Okay जी, ये बन जाएगा 9 cos square theta plus a cos theta minus a 4 is equals to 0. अच्छा, यहाँ हम सब्स्टिट्यूशन डाल लेते हैं अपनी कन्वीनियंस के लिए. लेट्स टेक x इज इक्वल्स टू cos थीटा, ठीक है. सो देन वी हैव द क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन 9x स्क्वायर प्लस x माइनस 4 इज इक्वल्स टू 0. ये नहीं भी डाली ना सब्स्टिट्यूशन, डोंट पुट इट, इट्स जस्ट ईजी ऑन द आइज एंड इट्स ईजियर टू plug, use the quadratic formula when you write it in a way which looks familiar. Okay, यहाँ a की वैल्यू होगी 9, b की वैल्यू होगी 1, c की वैल्यू होगी -4. So x is equals to minus b plus minus a b square, which is just a 1, right? Minus 4ac over a 2a. A is a 9. Let me tidy this up. Okay, we'll have a, ये क्या हुआ, this is too long. Okay, we'll have a -1 plus minus a 1 plus a 144. So this becomes a 145 over 9 twos are and 18. Okay, so x is equals to a -1 plus minus a 12.04 over an 18. Okay, actually there are two possibilities, right? So one with a positive option, one with a negative. So let's divide the page into two. They should give you guys more space to solve these questions. I don't know why they don't. Okay, so the value of, okay, the x was actually a cos theta, right? And over here I'll have a, this is approximately equals to a 0.618. Okay, so this could either, this could either be over here, so either like this, or it could be like this. Okay, so if I take find the value of alpha, it is a cos inverse of a 0.614, and that becomes a 52.1 degrees. So that means that theta is either a anti-clockwise movement, so we'll get a 52.1 degrees, or it's a clockwise movement, so I'll have to write a minus 52.1 degrees. Okay जी, next यहाँ आएगा cos theta is equals to approximately equals to minus 0.725. Okay, cos is associated with x, and if x is negative, there's two possibilities. Either it's going to be like this, or it's going to be like this. So this is the interior angle here, this is the interior angle here. So for an anti-clockwise movement, I'm searching for a theta like this, and for a clockwise movement, I'm searching for a theta over here. Okay, so alpha is actually a cos inverse of a 0.725, which is approximately 43.5 degrees. Okay, so theta is either a 180 degrees, right, minus a 45 degrees. So I'm talking about this one, the anti-clockwise, and this is just a 136.5. And if we go clockwise, then we're going to have a minus 180 degrees plus a 43.5 degrees. So we'll have a minus 136.5 degrees. So in this case, we have two values, a plus minus 136.5 degrees, and on the left hand side we again have two values, which is a 52.1 degrees. So this finishes question number 5, part 6, and I am running late for work, so I'll be back after I'll continue filming this once I'm back from university. Okay, question number 6. An arithmetic progression has first term a and common difference 2. The nth term is 55, and the sum of the first 3 n terms is 5760. Find the values of n and a. अच्छा, and दिया हुआ है 6 marks. Okay, so हमारे पास 2 unknowns हैं, ठीक है. The 2 unknowns are a and n. So if you have 2 unknowns, कितने हो गए यहाँ, n and a. Therefore, in order to find unique solutions, you need 2 equations to solve simultaneously. ठीक है, so आपको यहाँ से एक hint पता चल जानी चाहिए कि you need 2 equations. Okay, remember कि जो term का जो formula है ना, it is a plus n minus 1 into a d, right? और यहाँ हमें उसने बताया हुआ है कि the nth term is 55. ये पहले डाल के करते हैं, ठीक है. So अगर nth term डाला so यहाँ n की जगह कैपिटल n आ जाएगा, and d की वैल्यू हमें पता है is it's given d की वैल्यू as a 2. So यहाँ आ जाएगा 2, ठीक है. वी कैन सब्सटीट्यूट द वैल्यू 55 ऑन द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड. ये आ जाएगा a plus 2n minus 2. So therefore we get an a plus 2n is equals to a 57. So देखो ना ये एक equation आ गई. We need another equation. So the second equation is, we know that the sum of n terms is actually n over a 2, right? And multiplied by a 2a plus n minus 1 into a d. ठीक है. सो यहाँ उसने हमें कहा है कि 3 टाइम्स n डालना है. ओके, सब्स्टिट्यूट कर लेते हैं ना. तो 3 सम ऑफ 3 कैपिटल n है. सो यहाँ भी आ जाएगा 3n over 2 and we'll have 2a प्लस d की वैल्यू 2 है एंड n की जगह हमने 3n डालना है एंड यहाँ -1 आएगा. गुड. एंड सम उसने हमें बताया है इज़ 5760 जो हमने लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे डाल लिया. ओके, सो दिस बिकम्स 3n over 2 and we'll get 2a plus 6n minus 2. एंड 2 अगर हम बाहर कॉमन लेके जाए ना तो यहाँ से सारा कैंसिल हो जाएगा ना. 2 1s are 2, 2 1s are 2, 2 3s are 6, right? So we can write this as 3n a plus 3n minus 1. ओके, एंड यहाँ आ जाएगा 5760. ओके, खोलते हैं इसको. we'll get 3n a plus 9n square minus 3n is equals to 5760. अच्छा, सही है. एंड 3 से डिवाइड ना कर लें. इफ़ वी डिवाइड थ्रू बाई 3 I'll get a na plus 3n square minus n is equals to 1920. So yeah, this is my equation number 2. ठीक है. अब क्या करते हैं, इसको थोड़ा सिंप्लीफाई भी कर लेते हैं. हमें n कॉमन ले सकते हैं. सो लाइक इफ़ आई टेक n, बल्कि मुझे पहले उसी तरह छोड़ देना चाहिए था, राइट? n लेकिन खोलती ना तो बेहतर था. ओके, इस तरह करके लिख देते हैं. ओके, गुड. सो नाउ लेट्स पुट equation 1. नहीं, put, let's say from equation number 1 we have the value of a, which is a 57 minus 2n, right? So we can put this in equation number 2 ताकि सब कुछ in terms of क्या आ जाए, n. So we'll have a into n into 57 minus 2n plus 3n minus 1 is equals to 1920. Okay, this becomes n into 56 plus n is equals to 1920. तो हमें क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन मिल जाएगी. n square plus 56n minus 1920 is equals to 0. ओके, क्वाड्रेटिक फार्मूला लगा लेते हैं ना यहाँ, जहाँ पे द वैल्यू ऑफ a is equals to 1, द वैल्यू ऑफ b is a 56 and the value of c is a 1920. So n is equals to minus b plus minus a b square, which is a 3136 minus 4ac over 2 multiplied by 1 is a 2a. Okay, ये बन जाएगा -56 plus minus and under root of a 10816 over a 2. Okay, so n हो जाएगा -56 plus 104 over a 2. माइनस नहीं हो सकता, राइट? बिकॉज दिस इज़ द नंबर ऑफ टर्म्स एंड नंबर ऑफ टर्म्स क्या होती हैं, लाइक द फर्स्ट टर्म, द सेकंड टर्म, द थर्ड टर्म. सो अब माइनस and matlab, a minus term doesn't make any sense. The value of n has to be positive, so that's why I'm just putting a plus 104 here, and we'll get the 24th term. So ये है 24th term. Let's find the value of a. We know that a is equals to a 57 minus 2n, right? And the value of n is, we just calculated as 24, so this is going to be a 9. So the first term is a 9. एग्जामिनर के लिए ईजी करने के लिए यहाँ लिख देते हैं a की वैल्यू n आई, ताकि उसकी आँख ना इनिशियली हम आंसर पे ही बढ़ जाए. So remember, you have to make it easier for the examiner to check your paper. So we're done with question number 6, and this was worth 6 marks. Okay, आगे चलते हैं. Question number 7. A curve is such that the derivative of y with respect to x is this, 3x squared plus 10x minus 8, which is a polynomial of degree 2. So कहते हैं quadratic equation है. Find the set of values of x for which y decreases as n increases. So basically वो आपसे पूछ तो ये रहा है कि find the values for which the derivative of y with respect to x is negative. ठीक है. So if and only if कर देते हैं. The derivative is negative if and only if 3x square plus 10x minus 8 is less than 0. अच्छा, remember, because ये value 3 is greater than 1, therefore we expect a minimum point. So ये जो, if I'm plotting the derivative of y with respect to x, and यहाँ x axis, we are just interested in how this changes when x changes, तो ये ना इसकी इस तरह करके कोई minimum point आ रहा है. So अगर हमने फिर only interested in when the derivative is negative, तो यहाँ तो negative है नहीं, right? Negative इस point पे है. So we are searching for the values of x जो graph lies below 0. So ये सारा region है जो मैंने shade किया है, where the derivative की value which I am plotting on the vertical axis is less than 0. ठीक है. So उसके लिए ना हमें क्या निकालने पड़ेंगे, पहले तो उसके roots निकालने पड़ेंगे ना. So let's find the roots first. So I say 3x square plus 10x minus 8 is equals to 0. के लिए रूट्स क्या होंगे, ये तो easy. 8 3s are 24, so we have 2 1s are 2 2 2s are 4 and 2 6 are 12 and 6 1s are 6, right? and इनको माइनस करके बनाना है ना 10, तो कर लेते हैं 12 माइनस 2. हाँ, सो देखो ना यहाँ 12 माइनस 2 बन जाएगा 10. ओके, सो 3x square plus a 12x minus a 2x minus 8 is less than a 0. So we have a 3x is equals to x plus 4 minus 2x plus 4. अच्छा सॉरी, यहाँ तो मैं अभी ना रूट्स ही देख रही हूँ. ओके, I'll have a 3x minus a 2 and x plus 4 is equals to a 0. So एक रूट आ गया, x is equals to 2 by 3 and x is equals to minus 4, right? So basically एक ये value आ गई 2 by 3 and ये value आ गई minus. ठीक है. So what do I have to tell the examiner? Thus 3x square plus 10x minus 8 is less than 0 when the value of x is greater than minus 4 and less than 2 by 3. ठीक है. So this is the range. तो कह रहा था set of values बताओ जहाँ पे वो derivative negative है. This was worth 3 marks. ठीक है, आगे देखते हैं. वो कह रहे हैं it is given that the maximum point of the curve has y coordinate 27. ओके, यहाँ हम कंप्लीटिंग स्क्वायर भी कर सकते हैं, राइट? एंड हम मैक्सिमम पॉइंट को हम फाइंड करने के लिए, या फिर अच्छा वो कह रहे हैं फाइंड द इक्वेशन ऑफ द कर्व. तो इक्वेशन के लिए तो हमें इंटीग्रेट करना चाहिए. या सो ऐसा करते हैं कि हम ये करते हैं कि मैक्सिमम पॉइंट जो है वो है, अच्छा ठीक है, सो ये हमें पता चल गया कि जब फर्स्ट डेरिवेटिव जो हमने किया ना y का with respect to x and we put it equals to 0, तो ये हमें पता चल गया क्रिटिकल पॉइंट्स, ठीक है। हमें ये नहीं पता इनमें से मैक्सिमम कौन सा है, मिनिमम कौन सा है। सो क्रिटिकल पॉइंट्स दो आए, एक तो आ गया ना व्हेन x इज़ इक्वल्स टू 2/3 और एक x की वैल्यू आ गई -4। वी नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई इनमें से मैक्सिमम पॉइंट कौन सा है, ठीक है। वो डबल डेरिवेटिव लेके देख लेते हैं। So the double derivative is going to be 6x, 3 2 are 6x plus 10, ठीक है। So ये when x is equals to पॉजिटिव वैल्यू डालोगे तो डेफिनेटली पॉजिटिव आएगा डबल डेरिवेटिव, दैट वुड नॉट गिव यू अ मैक्सिमम पॉइंट। सो वेन एवर एक्स इज इक्वल्स टू -4, द वैल्यू ऑफ द डबल डेरिवेटिव becomes 6 4s are 24, so a -24 plus 10 is a -14 less than 0, therefore this gives us the maximum point, okay। so what is the maximum point के coordinates अब हमें पता चल गए हैं, which is x की value -4 and y की value 27 and this lies on the curve, ठीक है। so on the curve, सो अच्छा अब इंटीग्रेट करते हैं। ये ना हमें इंफॉर्मेशन यूज़फुल होएगी व्हेन वी हैव टू फाइंड द अननोन कांस्टेंट ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन, ठीक है। सो डी वाई इज़ इक्वल्स टू क्या था, 3x स्क्वायर प्लस 10x - 8 इंटू डी वाई। लेट मी एक सेकेंड स्क्रॉल अप, या अच्छा लेट्स इंटीग्रेट। So we have a y is equals to an x cube, ठीक है। यहाँ डिवाइड बाई 3 होएगा तो कैंसिल आउट हो जाएगा, ठीक है। प्लस 10x स्क्वायर ओवर 2 तो ये हो जाएगा 5 एंड माइनस एन 8x, ठीक है। एंड देयर इज़ अ कांस्टेंट ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन। अच्छा अब हमें पॉइंट पता है कि इफ़ द वैल्यू ऑफ y is equals to 27 when the value of x is a -4। ये डाल के देखते हैं, -4 square -8 into a -4 is equals to k। ये हो जाएगा 27 is equals to -64 plus an 80, let me zoom in, plus a 32 is equals to plus k, so k की वैल्यू यहाँ से आ गई -21 and that's it। we have the equation of the curve y as a function of x is x cube plus a 5x square minus an 8x minus a 21। this is a polynomial of degree 3 which means कि इसके at most 3 roots होंगे। okay, so we are done with question number 7। 2 parts थे and part A was for 3 marks, part B was for 4 marks। okay, question number 8। okay, the diagram shows a square ABCD square है, that means कि ये भी BC की भी लेंथ क्या होनी है 12 and DC की भी लेंथ क्या होनी है 12। okay, where each side has length 12 centimeters, वो यहाँ भी लिखा हुआ है। okay, the points E and F lie on the sides of BC, okay, E and F इधर है respectively, and are such that the length of BE is BC की length divided by 3। okay, so 12 divided by 3 is a 4, so therefore ये इसकी length बता दी गई है 4 and इसकी लेंथ डी एफ़ की भी यही होनी चाहिए ना, डी एफ़ की भी 1/3 ऑफ डी सी। ओके, सो दिस इज़ ऑल्सो अ 4 विच मीन्स कि ये एफ़ एंड एफ़ टू सी हो जाएगा 8 एंड ई टू सी हो जाएगा 8। ओके गुड, लेट मी फिक्स दिस। okay, the arc EF, the arc EF is part of a circle with center A. Okay. The shaded region is bounded by the arc EF and the line segment EC and EF. Ye shaded region. Okay. Show that the size of the angle EAF. Okay. EAF. Ye ban gaya angle. Okay. EAF is a 0.9273 radians, correct to four significant figures. So वैसे क्यों, because this is a square ना, that means कि ये सारा, this is a 90 degrees, this is a 90 degrees, this is a 90 degrees, this is a 90 degrees. So if this is beta and this is also going to be a beta, then what we can, there's a relationship, right? We know that beta plus alpha plus beta, तो ये 2 beta हो जाएगा, is equals to radians में करना है ना, तो 90 degrees pi by 2. So यहाँ से एक relationship मिल जाती है कि alpha is equals to a pi by 2 minus 2 beta. So if I'm able to find the value of beta, I'll be able to find the value of alpha. और बीटा देखो ना, ये तो ट्राइंगल बनता है, जिसकी 2 साइड्स पता हैं तो हम आराम से निकाल सकते हैं. अच्छा, tan यूज़ कर लेते हैं. So the tan of angle beta is opposite over adjacent, right? So a 4 over a 12. So a 4 over a 12 is basically a 1 by 3. So इसका अगर हमने acute angle चाहिए तो हम first quadrant में देख रहे हैं, ठीक है. So beta is equals to a tan inverse of 1 by 3. जब हम कैलकुलेटर में हमने देखा रेडियंस में, दिस इज़ अ 0.3218. ओके, सो देयरफॉर इसको नीचे, आई जस्ट ड्रैग दिस नीचे एंड पुट दिस अप. ओके, सो यहाँ से हमें अल्फ़ा की वैल्यू मिल जाएगी. ओके, सो दिस इज़ अ पाई बाय 2 माइनस 2 इंटू अ 0.3218. पाई की वैल्यू डाल देते हैं ना अंदर एंड उसको डिवाइड बाय 2 कर देते हैं, तो दैट बिकम्स अ 1.5707 माइनस, वेट लेट मी मूव दिस. ओके, इसको 2 से मल्टीप्लाई किया तो 0.6435. So the value of alpha becomes a 1.5707 minus a 0.6435, which is a 0.9273 radians. Yeah, so ये actually उसने हमें आंसर दिया हुआ था. So yeah, we've shown the exact answer. Okay, find the perimeter of the shaded region. Okay, that means हमें EF निकालना है. EC and E. Okay, सही है. So so the perimeter I can see from the diagram is basically the क्या कहते हैं, arc. So the arc EF plus FC plus EC, वो तो 8 plus 8 है, right? So तो ये arc मैंने निकालना है EF and 8 plus 8 तो हो गया 16. अच्छा, अब ना वो मुझे फॉर्मूला नहीं याद. देखो, एंगल एंड पेरीमीटर कर लेते हैं ना, का रेशियो निकाल लेते हैं. सो आई नो दैट 360 degrees gives me perimeter of a circle 2 pi r. That means 1 radian is equals to r. तो अल्फ़ा जो है ना, अल्फ़ा अगर एंगल है तो अल्फ़ा r पेरीमीटर होएगा. That's great. I'll just put this. I won't rub it. Maybe इस तरह की चीज़ से एग्जामिनर भी खुश हो जाएगा. वैसे तो रटे होने चाहिए यार, perimeter and area of an arc, but I'm really bad at rata. Okay, this becomes an alpha हमने निकाला है 0.9273 और radius, radius तो पता ही नहीं. रेडियस तो ये है या फिर ये है. ये हम पाइथागोरस थ्योरम कर लेते हैं. ओके, चलो बिफोर आई राइट दिस डाउन हम रेडियस निकाल लेते हैं. सो जो है ना AF विच इज़ द रेडियस, सो AF स्क्वायर is going to be equals to 12 square plus a 4 square, right? So I'm just using the Pythagoras theorem because this is a 90-degree angle है, right angle triangle है. So जो radius है, that's going to be an under root of a 12 square plus 4 square, which is a 160 का under root. ठीक है, सो 160 का अंडर रूट करके लिख लेते हैं, वरना 4 4s are 16 होता है, राइट? सो ये 4 अंडर रूट 10 भी हम लिख सकते हैं. ओके, सो देयरफॉर जो मेरा पेरीमीटर है, दैट्स गोइंग टू बी alpha, which was a 0.9273 into the radius, which is a 4 under root 10 plus a 16. Okay, so this will become an 11.73 plus a 16, so therefore we have a 27.73. Yay, हो गया. Find the area of the shaded region. देखो ना, स्क्वायर के अंदर से if I subtract this triangle and this sector, then I'll get the shaded region. Okay, so यहाँ पहले अपने लिए लिख देते हैं ना, एरिया ऑफ शेडेड रीजन निकालना कैसे है. हमें ना स्क्वायर का एरिया निकालना है, ठीक है, -2 ट्राइंगल्स का निकालना है एंड माइनस सेक्टर का लगाना है. ठीक है, अच्छा स्क्वायर का तो हमें पता है, स्क्वायर तो है 12 इंटू 12 लेंथ इंटू हाइट. 2 ट्राइंगल्स हैं, तो ट्राइंगल का तो होता है ना हाफ इंटू बेस इंटू हाइट. सो इन दोनों की जो बेस है दैट इज़ अ 4 एंड हाइट है 12. ओके, 4 इंटू 12. और सेक्टर का क्या हो गया, देखो 2 पाई जो होता है पूरा सर्कल होता है एंड उसका पाई आर स्क्वायर होता है, राइट? विच मीन्स कि अगर 1 होता रेडियंस में तो ये आ जाना था r²/2. हमारा एंगल अल्फ़ा बनता है, सो बेसिकली एरिया ऑफ द सेक्टर हो जाएगा α² r²/2. ठीक है, सो यहाँ आई वॉन्ट एन अल्फ़ा था 0.9273. ठीक है, ये मेरा हो गया अल्फ़ा एंड r² हो जाएगा 160. ठीक है, बिकॉज r अगर अंडर रूट ऑफ 160 था तो उसका स्क्वायर 160 हो जाएगा. सो एन ओवर 2 लुक्स काइंड ऑफ ग्रेट. अच्छा, ये हो जाएगा 144 माइनस ये 2 और 2 तो कैंसिल हो गया. ठीक है, सो 12 इंटू 4 इज़ जस्ट 48. अच्छा, ये हो जाएगा 2 8 16. ठीक है, तो 80 से मल्टीप्लाई करते हैं, दैट बिकम्स 74.18. सो फाइनल आंसर इज़ 21.82. दिस वॉज फॉर, इतनी मेहनत हमने किया है, तोबा जस्ट फॉर 3 marks. Okay, so we're done with question number 8. These are 3 parts. Part A worth 2 marks, part B worth 3 marks, and part C worth 3 marks as well. So we're done with question number 8. Okay, question number 9, part A worth 4 marks. कह रहा है 3 points P, Q, R have coordinates this where K is a constant. It is given that the angle PRQ is a right angle. Show that one of the possible values of K is 10. अच्छा, वैसे उसने कहा तो नहीं है, but just like I am just gonna make a sketch for my own. I always like to visualize what I'm doing, वरना I do make mistakes. Okay, यहाँ ना random -13 कर लेते हैं and उसने कहा था 5. Okay, so this is my point P. Okay, point Q is kind of like यहाँ a 5 and a 1. Okay, so point Q is here. Let's connect them. अच्छा, and point R has a 2 and 10 कह रहा है 1. ठीक है, so यहाँ कहीं सोच लेते हैं, चलो यहाँ कहीं 10, सो यूँ करके कहीं हमारा आ रहा है, ओके ये ऐसे और ये ऐसे, okay, and it says that PRQ is a right angle triangle. Okay, so this is 90 degrees. Okay, good visualization. Show that one of the possible values of K is 10. Find the other possible, because actually right angle triangle तो ये R नीचे भी तो आ सकता था ना, so इस तरह करके भी तो कुछ बन सकता था. So yeah, find the other possible values. Okay, ऐसा करते हैं, बिकॉज दिस इज़ अ 90 डिग्री एंगल ना, दैट मीन्स कि जो वेक्टर है एंड ये वेक्टर का जब हमने इनर प्रोडक्ट लिया तो उसका आना चाहिए आंसर 0, राइट. सो इफ़ this is a vector u1 and this is a vector u2, then I know that since u1 and u2 are आपस में perpendicular, therefore if I take their dot product, तो आंसर आना चाहिए 0. The reason being because I know a cos 0 is equals to sorry, a cos 0 तो नहीं है, 90 degrees है ना, तो a cos 90 degrees is equals to 0. that is why inner product क्या आना चाहिए, 0 के बराबर. Okay, so that means हमें u1 एंड u2 के निकालना चाहिए ना. अब हमें तो सिर्फ इनके पोजीशन वेक्टर्स पता हैं. सो u1 निकालने के लिए व्हाट आई शुड डू इज़ कि ये दो वेक्टर्स हैं OP एंड OR, राइट. सो इफ़ आई वांट अ PR, then I need to subtract these two. ठीक है. सो फॉर इंस्टेंस यहाँ अपना ना, जस्ट फॉर आवर ओन अंडरस्टैंडिंग थोड़ा सा रफ वर्क कर लेते हैं. सो I know if I want, for instance, एक RP vector है, ठीक है. So this is going to be OP minus OR, ठीक है. And अगर मतलब it doesn't matter इसकी डायरेक्शन किस तरफ लो, अगर P to R ले रहे होते, ठीक है, then it would have just been OR, the position vector of point R, minus the position vector of OP, ठीक है. बिकॉज यहाँ इस तरह करके आता है ना, यूँ करके अगर ये दो हैं, आई नो दिस प्लस दिस इज़ गोइंग टू गिव मी अ दिस, ठीक है. सो एक ये भी लिख देते हैं जस्ट फॉर रिविजन. आई नो दैट OP प्लस PR is like going from O to R. I'll highlight it again. From O to P and P to R, ये starting point O था, end point R था, ठीक है. So like going from O to P first and P to R gives me an OR, right. So therefore अगर PR यहाँ से subject बनाया जाए, then position vector क्या है, R से minus किया है position vector P का. Okay, so let's use this fact. u1 निकालते हैं पहले, ठीक है. u1 जो है इज़ जस्ट PR, बल्कि ना इस तरह लिख देते हैं. बस चेंज, ये लीनियर अलजेब्रा की टर्मिनोलॉजी है, चलो यहाँ रहने दो. PR जो वेक्टर है का इनर प्रोडक्ट विथ कर लेते हैं क्या कहते हैं, QR कर लेते हैं. QR is going to be equals to a 0. So PR निकालते हैं पहले, ठीक है. So PR is OR, so which is a 2 and K minus an OP which is a minus 13 5, ठीक है. So we'll get a 15 and over here we'll get a K minus a 5. okay. अच्छा, अब QR निकालते हैं. QR is going to be an OR which is a 2K and I'm going to subtract it by OQ which is a 5 and a 1. okay, so I'll get a -3 and a K minus 1 here, ठीक है. अब इन दोनों का इनर प्रोडक्ट लेना है, ठीक है. सो इनर प्रोडक्ट कैसे लेते हैं, So if I take the inner product, इसमें I have to multiply the इस तरह बल्कि ना इसको row I like writing this as a row vector and the other one as a column vector ताकि row into column multiplication ज़्यादा ना पता नहीं visually मुझे easy लगती है. So what do you have to do? First entry multiplied by the first entry plus the second entry multiplied by the second entry. तो क्या है row into column multiply किया. ठीक है. So I'll have a 15 into a -3 plus k minus 5 multiplied by a k minus 1 is equals to a 0. So I'll get a minus 45 plus k square ये तो हो जाएगा minus 6k plus a 5 is equals to a 0. सही है. So quadratic equation मिल गई. k इसलिए no wonder k के दो values आएंगी ना. k square minus 6k minus a 40 is equals to a 0. Therefore we have 40. Okay, we'll have 4 tens are 40, right? So we'll get two roots. Minus 10k plus 4k minus 40 is equals to a 0. So k is equals to k minus 10 plus a 4k minus 10 is equals to a 0. So k plus 4 and k minus 10 is equals to a 0. So we have two values. K is equals to 10, which we already knew, and the other value is k is equals to minus 4. So the question actually just asked for the one find the other possible value, and the other possible value is a 4. So the other possible value is a minus 4, and we're done with part A. Let's move on to part B. Acha, it is now given that k is equals to a 10 and a circle passes through the points P, Q, R. Okay, I just want a visualization for myself. यहाँ एक इनके बीच में तो एक 90 degree angle था. Okay, so this is the 90 degree. Okay, if this is a 90 degree, right, then this P and Q will have to be the diameter. Okay, so this has to, that's just a geometrical fact. Okay, so this was my R, this was my P, this was my Q, this was a 90 degree like we know before. And yeah, ठीक है, आगे पढ़ते हैं. Find the equation of the tangent to the circle at point R. Okay, sort of like इसकी equation वो पूछ रहा है. So this is the tangent line, L1 कह देते हैं. Okay, nice. Give your answer in form. Okay. अच्छा, remember, बल्कि इसके पहले भी हमने ये बात की थी कि line के लिए what do we need to define a line? To define a line, we need the slope and a point. Okay? We already have a point that lies on this tangent line. So our only concern is being able to find the slope. Okay? So if we and also we know कि एक और fact है, geometrical fact, कि जो भी center of the circle है ना, and there any point on the circle, right, it will, अगर ये भी point होता, ये भी point होता, ये भी point होता, it has to form a 90 degree angle from the tangent line to that point. So अगर ये भी point होता and there was a tangent line here, तो from the radius till that point ये इनका आपस में 90 degree बनना था. ठीक है? So let's try to show that. कि first करो, I say that this is the center of the circle, ठीक है, and this is the point ये, तो ये जो है ना आपस में this is a 90 degree angle. ठीक है, पता नहीं clearly नज़र आ रहा है कि नहीं, which means कि अगर हम RC का, if we find the slope of RC, then the slope of the line L1 is exactly going to be the reciprocal and sign reversed. तो अगर हमें बस सेंटर मिल जाए ना सर्कल का, then we'll able to figure this out. ठीक है, so ऐसा करते हैं कि सेंटर हम किस तरह पता चलते हैं. ये अगर if PR is the diameter, say, so if PQ is the diameter, देन जो सेंटर है ना वो एग्जैक्टली इसके बीच में आएगा. इट्स कॉल्ड द थेल्स थ्योरम. लेट मी जस्ट राइट दैट डाउन. इट्स कॉल्ड द थेल्स थ्योरम. सो सेंटर इसके बीच में आएगा. ठीक है, अब 2 पॉइंट्स क्या थे इसके भी लिख देते हैं. Q was 5 and 1, 5 and 1, and P was a -13 something, right? -13 and 5, exactly इनके बीच में. ठीक है, सो सेंटर के कोऑर्डिनेट्स क्या आएंगे, मिड पॉइंट निकालते हैं. 13 प्लस अ 5 ओवर अ 2 एंड अ 5 प्लस 1 ओवर 2. सो जो सेंटर है उसके कोऑर्डिनेट्स आगे -4 and 3. ठीक है, which means that if I want to find the slope of the chord RC, ठीक है, R के भी हमें coordinates पता हैं. ठीक है, क्या थे, R is a 2 and 10, right? So a 2 and K की वैल्यू उसने कहा 10 ले लो. ठीक है, तो slope इसकी क्या होएगी, slope will be a 10 minus a 3 over a 2 minus a -4. So this is going to be a 7 over a 6. ठीक है, so what is the slope of the tangent line? ठीक है, remember because वो 90 degree angle बनता है, therefore इसका reciprocal लेना है and sign reverse करना है. ठीक है, because when you multiply the slopes, ठीक है, they have to give you a -1, and this is the only way you'll get a -1. इसके reciprocal ले लो and sign reverse कर दो. ठीक है, now we have everything we need. ठीक है, so the slope की value of the tangent line is -6 over 7, and we have a point on the line which is R, right? And R is a 2 and 10. So what is the slope? A y -10 and 6 over 7 is the slope, and x minus a 2, right? So ये हो जाएगा y is equals to -6, बल्कि ना इसने क्या कहा है इस फॉर्म में दो. अच्छा, तो फ्रैक्शन हटा देते हैं ना, यहाँ से क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई कर देते हैं. सो आई विल गेट a 7y minus a 70 is equals to -6x plus a 12, right? So I'll get a 7y plus a 6x, बल्कि x उसने पहले लिखता है कन्वेंशनली, तो 6x plus 7y minus and 82 is equals to a 0. So basically a की value we found out as 6 and y की value is a 7, नहीं y नहीं b कह रहा है, b की value 7, c is equals to -82. So this finishes part B. बस ये चीज़ें याद रखनी है कि जब 90 डिग्री एंगल का ट्रायंगल है, राइट, देन जो PQ है दैट इज़ गोइंग टू बी द डायमीटर एंड उसका एग्जैक्टली मिड पॉइंट इज़ गोइंग टू गिव यू द सेंटर ऑफ द सर्कल. दूसरी चीज़ याद रखनी है कि व्हेन एवर देयर इज़ एनी पॉइंट ऑन द सर्कल एंड यू ड्रॉ टेंजेंट लाइन एट दैट पॉइंट, तो फ्रॉम द सेंटर टू दैट पॉइंट का जो एंगल बनता है ना विद द टेंजेंट लाइन इज़ ऑलवेज अ 90 डिग्री एंगल. सो इफ़ यू रिमेंबर दीज टू facts, you'll be able to solve such a question. This was rightly so for 5 marks, and part A was for 4 marks, and we're done with question number 9. Okay, question number 10. A curve C has the following equation. Find the coordinates of the two stationary points. Okay, I hate the quotient rule, तो इसको ना पहले इस तरह लिख देते हैं. 9 2x minus 5 power -1 plus 2x minus 1. Okay, so remember to find a stationary point you need to take the derivative and put it equals to a 0. ठीक है, बिकॉज स्लोप क्या होती है, ज़ीरो होती है एट अ स्टेशनरी पॉइंट. सो व्हेन आई टेक द डेरिवेटिव इट बिकम्स -9 2x -5 -1 is a -2, and you have to multiply the derivative of this expression, which is just a 2, and then the derivative of 2x is just a 2, and the derivative of a constant is 0. क्यों, constant क्या स्ट्रेट लाइन होती है, राइट, 5. तो यहाँ क्या होनी है, स्लोप 0. सो द डेरिवेटिव ऑफ अ कांस्टेंट इज़ 0. अच्छा, हमने इसको पुट इट इक्वल्स टू 0 करना है. अच्छा, ये हो क्या जाएगा, दिस बिकम्स 9 2 18, ठीक है, ओवर 2x -5 स्क्वायर प्लस 2, ठीक है, and I want to put this expression equals to a 0. So this is the derivative, I'm putting it equals to a 0. I'll get a -18 plus a 2 multiplied by 2x -5 whole square, and फिर जो denominator है क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे ना 0 के साथ, then that'll just become a 0, ठीक है. So we have this expression right here. Okay, let's open it up. I'll get बल्कि 18 को उस तरफ ले आते हैं, इसको नहीं खोलें तो बेहतर है ना. Let's write this as 2x -5 square is equals to 18 divided by 2 is a 9. Okay, so we have two possibilities. One is going to be a 2x -5 is equals to a +3, and the next is 2x -5 is equals to a -3. So we have a 2x is equals to an 8, and then x is equals to a 4. Corresponding y value भी निकालनी पड़ेगी. So we have a 9 over 4 2 8 minus a 5 is a 3, plus 4 2 8 minus a 5. So this becomes a 6. So one critical point is a 4 and a 6. Okay, ये निकालते हैं. We have a 2x is equals to a 2. So x is equals to a 1. Therefore y is equals to a 9 over a 2 minus a 5 is going to be -3. तो ये -3 इस तरह लिख देते हैं. Okay, then plus 2 1s are 2 minus a 5. Okay, so this will become a -3 plus 2 minus 5, which is a -6. Okay, so we have a 1 and -6. So these are the two critical points that they wanted. So remember, when they ask for the coordinates, you need to give the y coordinate as, like, you need the x and the y coordinate. Okay, that's why S likha hai, coordinates, the x and the y both. Okay, find the second derivative and determine the nature of each critical point. Okay, second derivative निकालते हैं. This was the first derivative, ठीक है. So the second derivative is just the derivative of the derivative, ठीक है. So a -9 into a -2 is a 9 2 18, right, and 2x -5. अच्छा, यहाँ सॉरी, यहाँ एक और 2 भी था, तो 18. Let me just rewrite this, otherwise I'm going to make a silly mistake. This is a -18 2x -5 power -2 plus 2. अच्छा, आप करते हैं. So a -18 into a -2 is a + 36. Then we have a 2x -5 power -2 -1 क्या हो जाएगा, -3, and derivative of 2x -5 is just a 2. ठीक है, so ये हो गया. We have a 72 over a 2x -5 cube. Okay, so let's see the value of the derivative at 4 and 6. यहाँ x की वैल्यू क्या है, 4, not a 2, it's a 4. So the second derivative will become 4 2s 8, right. तो डिनोमिनेटर एक पॉजिटिव नंबर होएगा. So 8 minus 5 is a 3. तो 72 over a 3 cube. आगे लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं. I can see it's a positive number. Therefore this is going to be the minimum point. ठीक है. And the next 1 and minus 6, at this point the value of x is equals to a 1, so the denominator actually will now become a negative number now, because a 2 minus a 5 is a minus 3. So 72 over a minus 3 ka cube is just a minus, right? It's a negative number. So this gives a negative double derivative. So this gives me the maximum point. So now we've classified the points, and we also were able to take the second derivative. Okay, part C of question number 10 says a curve C is transformed to the curve C1 using a translation ये shift हो गया, ठीक है, followed by a reflection in the x-axis. Okay, so first there is a translation and then there is a reflection. State the coordinates of the maximum point of C1. Okay, so the curve here, the curve C has this. Okay, let's first write the curve C. Okay, so we have y is equals to a 9 over a 2x minus 5 plus 2x minus 5. Okay, plus a 2x minus a 5. So this was the curve C. Okay, and I want to translate it first and then reflect it. Okay, so initially what I'm looking for is that any xy coordinate becomes x will become an x minus 3 and y will become a y plus a 7. Okay, so the maximum point over here we've already found in the previous part is, let me scroll up, I'm forgetting. The maximum point was a 1 and minus 6. Okay, so a 1 and minus 6. So yeah, and therefore what I'm going to do is, remember, a translation is a shift, so you just add the shift, right? I don't know what it's called, minus 3, 7. Basically what I know is that the x coordinate 1, we have to subtract a 3 from it, because we can see, let me just write a small cute note over here. A minus 3 means that you are shifting to the left by 3 units because it's a minus. Okay, and we're going to go upwards by 7 units. Okay, so because upwards है by 7 units. Okay, so therefore जो maximum point will become a minus 2 and 1. Okay, but now we need a reflection, so we need to reflect it. So reflection on x-axis. Remember, for a reflection the y coordinate actually should change, whereas, for instance, let me just draw, if this was a point and we're reflecting it on the x-axis, the x value stays the same, whereas the y coordinate becomes if it was up here like it is over here, it's a 1 here, then if I reflect it, it's going to become a minus 1. Okay, so the value of the x coordinate remains the same, whereas the value of y after reflection changes its sign. So the max, it only asked for the coordinates of the maximum point at C, or on the new curve, so we just wanted to tell the points. Okay, next, find the equation. Okay, they should have actually asked this question first, because if I knew this equation I could have just plugged in the value and I would have found out this as well. So maybe they should have asked this part first. Anyhow, I'm no one to judge. Okay, so let's do this. So there's a shift first. Okay, which means that the x needs to be substituted by an x plus 3 in the function itself, okay, and y is supposed to get turned into a y minus a 7. What this does is that the impact of this substitution in the function for c1 is that the coordinate for x and y changes to x minus 3 and y plus 7. Okay, so let's try to do this first step. So this was c, so I have to replace the y by a y minus a 7, so a y minus a 7, and I have to replace an x by an x plus 3. Okay, and there has to be an x plus 3 over here as well, minus a 5. Okay, this becomes a y minus 7 is equals to 9 over a 2x plus 6 minus a 5 or plus 1, and we'll have a 2x plus 1 over here as well. So y is equals to 9 over a 2x plus 1 plus a 2x plus 8. Okay, so now we need to do a reflection. Now a reflection. For reflection, what we need to do is change the y variable into a negative y. Okay, when we do that, we'll get the following answer. We'll get the final equation for c1 to be a y is equals to a minus 9 over a 2x plus 1 minus 2x minus an 8. And that's it for question number 10. If anybody is getting confused by the change in signs here, let me just add a little bit of explanation just in case anybody's unfamiliar with why this happens actually. Okay, suppose we had a function. Let's take an easy one. Suppose we have a y is equals to x square. Okay, so y is equals to, it depends on x, which is an x square. And let's suppose I want to move this toward, so translate it, okay, on the right. Okay, so let's make it so that this is a function gx, and what is it going to be? Now let's guess. So whenever the value, suppose I have a 2 over here, right? What does this mean? It means that when the value of y is equals to a 0, then the value of x is going to be equals to a 2, right? So what this essentially means is that we need a graph gx which looks like this, and x minus 2 whole square, right? Because this is the only way in which, so suppose I have a gx is equals to an x minus 2 whole square, and I'm interested to find the x intercept. So for the x intercept, I have to take a y is equals to a 0, and that will give me an x minus 2 whole square is equals to a 0, right? So that will give me an x is equals to 2, right? So can you see, like, if I change y, for instance, if I change the substitute x plus 2 instead of an x in this function, so what I'm doing is essentially I'm plugging the putting in the value x plus 2 in the function f, and that gives me an x plus 2 whole square. So if I do this, then I'll, oh, not a plus 2, it was a minus 2, my bad. let me change this. Okay, if I do an x minus 2 over here, like this, a minus 2, then what's happening is that you're going to get a shift to the right. And how I represent that this in coordinate form is that if you had x and y, this becomes, the x now becomes a x plus 2 and the y is the same. And if I show the transformation when it comes to what you need to plug into the function, you have to replace x with an x minus 2. I'm not sure if I explained this properly, but this is sort of like the gist behind this. Okay, so remember, if it is a translation or shift towards the right in the function itself, you have to substitute a x minus 2. This sounds kind of counterintuitive, right? Because you're actually going towards the right, and what you would prefer is that you have an x plus 2 here, because visually, like mathematically, this sounds more intuitive. It's a rightward movement, so therefore there's a right movements of 2 units, so you want to add a 2. But remember, even though this is a bit counterintuitive, you're substituting x minus 2 into the function. Okay, so this representation is different and this representation is different, even though this is counterintuitive, but this is how you're supposed to do it. Okay, so just remember this part. Sorry for the extra explanation, but I hope it was still beneficial for some of you all. Okay, so we're done with question number 10, part C and part B and A, and now we're going to do question number 11. Okay, last question is question number 11. It says the function f is defined by this for x that are real numbers and a is a constant. The function g is such that the inverse is defined by this equation for all x that are real numbers. Given that the range of f is greater than equals to minus 33, find the possible values of a. Okay, so remember, if we have a function ax square plus bx plus c is equals to a 0, when the value of a is greater than a 1, then we say that we have a minimum point. In this case, the value of a is actually equals to a 1, which is great. Oh, sorry, I meant greater than 0, positive number. It is greater than a 0, it's a positive number, so that actually kind of means that the double derivative is a positive number, so we have a minimum point. So what we can imagine is that this is a very rough sketch. I don't know if it's the actual graph or not, but we can imagine that the minimum point of this is at a minus 33. That is why it's saying that the graph lies above minus 33. So this should be the minimum point. Okay, so basically we kind of like know that the y coordinate of the minimum point, it could actually also be over here, right? So the minimum point has to lie above, otherwise this is not going to be satisfied. The function has to lie, either it's equals to a minus 33 or it's strictly greater. Okay, so it lies somewhere over here. So let's try to make this. Okay, so the function is x square plus a 4ax plus a is equals to a 0. Let's do completing square. I'll have a x square plus a 4ax. A 4a divided by a 2 is a 2a. So we add a 2a square and we subtract a 2a square. plus a is equals to a 0. So I'll get a x plus 2a square and a minus 4a square plus a is equals to a 0. Okay, so just remember that after completing the square, if I have like expression like this, a b, let me use some other p x minus q square plus r is equals to a 0, then whenever the value of p is greater than 0, we have a minimum point, and the point itself has coordinates q and r. So the minimum point is a q and a r. Okay, so in our scenario, what is the value of p? Okay, so the value of p is actually a 1 here, which is greater than 0. So we have a minimum point, and the coordinates of this minimum point is a minus 2a, right? And the y coordinate is a minus 4a square plus an a. Okay, so the y coordinate, we know that has to lie either it's equal to a minus 33 or greater than. Okay, so a minus 4a square has to be greater than equals to a minus 33, which means that we have a 4a square minus an a minus a 33 being less than equals to a 0. Okay, so this gives an a is equals to 1 plus minus 1 minus 1 square is a 1 minus 4ac over a 2a, which is an 8. This becomes a 1 plus minus under root of let me see, so the 4 into a 4 into 33, 522 plus a 1 is a 529 over an 8. The under root of this is actually 23. So we have two values. One is a 1 plus 23 over an 8, which is a 24 over an 8, which gives us a positive 3. And the other is a plus 1 minus a 23 over an 8, which is a minus 22 over an 8. So this gives us a value minus 11 over a 4. Okay, so this means that we were asked for a range of values, right? So a has to be less than equals to a 3 and greater than equals to a minus 11 over a 4. So this finishes part A of question number 11. Given instead that f g 0 is equals to a 96. Okay, this means that you substitute, this is like a composition, right? So what this means is that you substituted the function g in function f, and the function g was taken at the value g0, right? So we need, for us to be able to solve this question now, we need to be able to find the function g. We were given the inverse though. Okay, 2x minus 4 power cube. चलो ऐसे करते हैं. So the inverse of g is equals to a 2x minus 4 power 3. Let's take this as a y. We have a 2x minus 4 power. This becomes a 3 then, right? Let me just, I don't want to skip any steps. Y cube is equals to 2x minus a 4. And then the x becomes a y cube plus 4 over a 2. Okay, so now we found the function gx. So gx is a x square. We have to swap values. X, oh, it's a cube. X cubed plus a 4 over 2, right? So we need to see the value of the function g at a 0. So that just becomes a 4 over a 2. So that's a 2. So and then I need to substitute this value into g. So what I'm looking for is g के अंदर 2 डालना है. Okay, so if I have a 2 cube plus a 4 over a 2, that's an 8 plus 4 over a 2. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 over a 2 is actually a 6. Okay, so therefore what I'm looking for essentially is k. Oops, what did I do? I needed to copy this actually. Okay, so f के अंदर डालना क्या है? f के अंदर I need to put a g2, right? And g2 की value आ गई है 6. Okay, so function के अंदर 6 डालना है. Function था क्या? x square plus 4ax plus a. So this is a भूल गई function. एक second. x square plus 4ax plus a. Let me just write this down here. Function is equals to x square plus 4ax plus a, right? 4ax plus a. ठीक है. अच्छा, so इसके अंदर हमने डालना है 6. Okay, so 6 6 are 36 plus 4 6 are 24 a plus n a. ठीक है, ये यहाँ क्या किया? इसके अंदर डाला है फंक्शन x की जगह 6 डाला है and we'll get therefore a 36 plus a 25a. Acha, and they've told us that this is equals to a 96. Okay, so what we have to do is I say a 36 plus a 25a should be equals to a 96. So 25a is equals to a 60. So a is equals to a 2.4. And I think this was it. Yeah, this was the end of the paper. This was question number 11 part B, which was for 6 marks. And I hope this lesson was beneficial to you. If I've made any mistakes, then please be forgiving. And good luck for your exams, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.